two fucking gay naked dudes, bro, just walking around, meat out and everything, bro. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Tutu. Today we got the most insane Florida man stories by the man is Blanco again. I really like the last video we reacted to him, even though that dude, if y'all remember, that dude was disgusting, bro. He deserved to get locked up for more than 14 years. That weird ass Fogel Jared dude, bro, from Subway. Weird ass dude, bro. Like, y'all check that out. I'll put that down below. But hey, we got the most insane Florida man stories. We love Blanco over here. So hey, make sure y'all like and sub. Watch to the end. We're trying to hit 600 by the end of the month. So make sure y'all sub up too. And yeah, let's go. Let's get into it.
From impersonating lawyers to kicking swans in the head for karate practice to trying to take over the Venezuelan government, the Florida Man is one of the most insane occurrences ever. If you've ever seen a headline that has the title Florida Man in it, you are in for a treat. There's no such thing as a normal Florida Man headline. That's like trying to find a Swiftie that's mentally stable. It just doesn't exist. Over the years, we've
Taylor
seen
Swift
hilarious
fans
headlines
swear
like
that
the
she's
guy
the
who got a
greatest
DUI
person
trying
to
to ride
ever
a
exist,
lawnmower,
bro.
or the guy who pretended to be a security guard to sneak into a Taylor Swift concert. We've seen really weird ones, like the therapist who lost his license after trying to flirt
You gotta
with an
sneak.
R-word
I'd
victim,
accept
or
it if
the
you snuck
college
into like Prime Ariana Grande's concert. I wouldn't blame you for that. But fucking Taylor Swift, bro, come on. Taylor Swift, bro. Like I said, I could see if it was, my girl Ari, but like that's the GOAT, right? She's the real GOAT right there, bro.
student who
Taylor
threatens to
Swift,
shoot
bro.
his professor after they scheduled a 7 a.m. exam. And we can't forget the alligator stories, like the guy who saved his neighbor from being eaten by an alligator by driving into it with his car. That one's actually pretty badass, I gotta say.
That's a
But I
W
wanted to
neighbor,
share some
bro.
of the wildest Florida man stories to really get to the worst of the worst. Yeah, all those I just mentioned earlier, that's only the tipping point. That is very far from the craziest. So let's cut the bullshit and get right into it. Let's start with the guy who was an Uber driver in a stolen car. Now in 2023, a 27-year-old Elijah Mills was hustling as an Uber driver to try and get by. After all, it's a great side hustle to get some money. But the car he was using was a rental, which is fine. You gotta do what you gotta do. But the problem was that pretty soon after, he just started straight up not paying
could
for
Uber
the
in
rental
rentals,
car,
bro?
which you kind of have to do. You see, his whole plan here was that he would temporarily rent the
thought you had to,
car
like,
and then
own the
just
car
stop
to
paying
have-
for the car, and then he would just keep on riding Uber and then keep making money. Sounds pretty genius, right? Well, no, not even remotely. Here's the thing about rental cars, right? A lot of them are designed in a way that if you just stop paying for the car but you keep on driving it, it will shut down if you turn off the engine completely and you won't be able to turn it back on. So Elijah just kept the car running 24/7, which is like really bad for the engine and
This
very,
dude,
very
bro.
dangerous. And the
The
thing
car
about
gonna
stolen cars
explode
is that
and
they're
catch on
pretty
fire
easy
when
to
you're
find
driving,
because,
bro.
they have license plates on them and it's pretty easy to find out what they look like. So it didn't take long for the cops to find this guy. The cops arrested him mid-Uber drive, which really confused the two British passengers that he had in the back seat. Oh, and on top
Yo,
of all
didn't the
this,
cops
he had a
finish the drive
suspended
at something like that?
license. Not only did he steal a car and keep on using it like an idiot, but he also did it without even being able to properly drive. On top of that, he also should have been charged for that giant
Yo, God, I was just about to say something for that ugly ass nose ring. Oh my God, bro, nah. You should get plus 30 years for that disgusting thing around his nose, bro.
ass nose ring he got that makes him look like a bull. What the hell is that? I
Oh
hate
my
people who steal
God.
cars, but I also genuinely hate people that parked in handicapped parking spots, which is exactly what the rapper Stitches
ugly
did.
ass
You see, he went to
tattoos,
go to a
bro.
Whole Foods and parked in the handicapped spot, even though he's not disabled like a jackass. And during that time in there, he decided to spark up and smoke some Zaza. And in case you don't know, that is not legal in Florida. The cops approached him when they saw that he was not parked legally, and when they did approach him, he had the bright
Bro, it
idea
sucks
to
to not
hand
have
them
weed,
a
bro.
burnt joint. They conducted a search and found 40 ounces of marijuana and an oxycodone pill, none of which he had a prescription for.
Bro,
Oh, and on
weed's not
top
even
of
that
that, they
bad,
also
bro.
found that he had an unregistered gun. That may be stupid, but impersonating a cop is a lot dumber. And then pulling over a real cop while doing so is also a lot dumber. In 2019, Barry Lee Hastings decided to one day just randomly be a cop. Why? I don't know. He put fake police lights on his car, a siren box, and even got a whole outfit going on, and then just drove around like he was a real cop. And to really commit to the bit, he decided to pull over someone for speeding. However, the person that he pulled over was actually a real cop who was off duty
Bro,
at the
you didn't
time.
see
And
the-
so
the-
when
the
real
side
cop
parts
asked
on
for
their
his
car,
badge,
bro?
Barry came up empty-handed because he didn't have one. And so pretty soon after, he was arrested. The crazy thing is, this happened twice. The first time in 2019 was Barry, but then it happened a year later with a security guard who was pretending to be a cop. Yeah, he also pulled over a real cop off duty and got arrested for
Bro.
it. How the fuck fuck does that happen more?
You guys are, how do you, out of all, like, if you gonna do that, how you gonna pull over an actual cop twice, bro? How stupid you gotta be to pull, you could pull over anybody. You could pull over a person in a mom van that's definitely, why would you pull over a car that looks like, why would you pull over a car that looks like a cop car? That doesn't make no sense to me, bro. Pull over a mom van, a Corolla.
Than once. In case you don't know, the penalty for impersonating a cop is 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. Not only is impersonating a cop against the law, but impersonating anybody is against the law. And you wouldn't want that to happen to you, now would you? You need a secure wall that holds on for long the one on the head. It has don't need direct you need to bring a pack having a September by using there. Now let's get back to the video. But you want to know what's a lot dumber than impersonating a cop? Impersonating a lawyer. In 2020, a man named Christian Moscow planned one of the dumbest schemes ever
crazy,
and planned an even dumber way to try to get out of it when
like
he got
sniff
caught. You see,
for
Christian blackmailed a car dealership into giving him 50 grand and a brand new car. He claimed that he possessed classified documents that contained the personal information of their customers between 2002 and 2004. This data had super private stuff like birthdays and social security numbers, stuff you obviously wouldn't want in the open. Christian claims that if the dealership didn't give in to his demands, he would go to the media and expose just how lousy and how untrustworthy they are. Now, Christian did actually possess these documents, but he literally stole them from the office. So that's a crime right there. The other problem is that extorting someone like this is also extremely illegal. So we're off to a bad start here.
I respect
Christian
the
told
hustle,
the
bro. I'm
dealership
not
that he
gonna
would
lie.
sign an NDA if they gave him the cash and the car. And the dealership pretended to go along with it. They told him to meet them at an attorney's office where the deal would go down. But when he showed up, the cops arrested him right on the spot. Because the thing is
bro.
that
Why would
Christian was
why
dumb
would you
enough
fall
to
for
send these
that?
threats over email, literally in writing. So he basically confessed to the crime. And then soon after, he had the brilliant idea to pose as not one, but two lawyers to try and drop his charges. He stole the name and bar IDs of two real attorneys and then created an email in their name. Now, under his profile, he tried to drop the charges by filing an announcement of no information, which is lawyer talk for basically saying that the charges were now being pressed against someone else. But this made no sense because an information charge was already filed to him. So this is pretty contradictory.
Bro, you're
And
caught,
what's
bro.
also
Just give it
really
up,
dumb
yo.
is that this almost actually worked. Yeah.
Ain't no way.
If instead he filed
That's how you know that the justice system is all messed up. That almost worked. If you could tell that dude's impersonating another, how do you fall for that, bro? Because that dude looks crazy. There's nobody else in the world that looks as crazy. You saw his smile and then them ugly ass ears he had, bro. Wrap it up, bro. You just get your ass in prison. You caught. You shouldn't have. Why would you send an email that you're gonna rob somebody? That's stupid as hell. That's like calling somebody over the phone and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna come rob you in 30 minutes." What the hell you think's gonna happen? They gonna call the cops and come surround you, idiot. Some
a
people,
null
bro.
prosi, which basically means unable to prosecute, he would have gotten away with this and walked out. But instead, he just made his prison sentence a lot
Crazy ass
longer.
bald
But
ass
enough about
nigga.
impersonations, though. There are people that have done much dumber stuff right in front of the police. Like the guy who drank a beer right in front of the cops after being suspected of driving under the influence. The cops approached Juan Francisco, who reportedly hit another car while on the road. Already off to a bad start. When they approached Juan, he literally was chugging a beer right in front of them in his own car. He was clearly wasted, and the cops found
Coulda
5
threw it under
empty
the
beer
seat or
bottles in
something,
his
bro.
trunk. And you know what's even crazier? He was already convicted for 3 other DUIs. This was his 4th one. And he wasn't
Bro, how
even
is he
trying to
still
hide it. And what's
driving, bro? I
even
thought you got,
wilder,
like,
this has
suspended
happened
after, like,
multiple times
1 or
too
2,
with
bro.
different people. In 2018, another guy was pulled over and then drank a beer right in front of the cops when he also had 3 other DUIs. It's like they're trying to collect badges for idiocracy. And there's tons of people that have done a lot
Bro, yeah,
dumber
y'all
stuff
deserve
while
to get
drunk,
locked
like
up for
trying to
doing
bake
dumb
cookies
shit
and
like
then
that.
end up setting your house on fire. In 2018, 50-year-old James Cunningham had quite a lot of alcohol and quite a lot of that Zaza, and then decided that he wanted to bake some cookies. The thing is, instead of an oven, he tried to bake them on a George Foreman grill, which is like, you know, not designed for baking. He left them unattended, and the cookies caught on fire. When the flames got pretty big, he tried to put them out with a towel, which is easily one of the dumbest things you can do, because it basically just makes it worse. He called the firefighters to his house, and he was literally so drunk that he greeted them at the door still naked. To him, this is like a minor inconvenience rather than a life-threatening situation that could have killed him. Who knows what the cops were thinking when they got that call? Just like the guy who made a bomb threat against himself.
Bro,
In 2024, Kyle McHenry did just that. You see, he called the police under a different name as a woman and then made a bomb threat to
Bro, you
himself.
could tell,
This
bro.
was to help get revenge.
These are the type of dudes you gotta stay away from
He
because
even
you
made
know
all
they
these
just look like
emails under a
weirdos and they
fake
look like they're gonna
username
do
and
some
sent them
weird
to
shit.
himself with all these like death threats and shit. From the get-go, the police suspected that this was pretty weird, and then Kyle made the direct mistake of calling under his name and asking why the person who made the threat wasn't arrested. They were able to find out that he made the threat pretty quickly. And in case you don't know, making a bomb threat, even a false one, is also illegal. Just like how it's illegal to be naked in public and show your schlong to people and call them gay for looking at it. No, I'm not making this one up. This all started.
This is not illegal, bro. I was in San Francisco one time, bro, with my parents and my sister, bro, and my brother. Two fucking gay naked dudes, bro, just walking around, meat out and everything, bro. It was disgusting. They were like 40, bro. It was bad, bro. No, they wasn't that old. Oh, it was. It was fucking
When
gross,
30-year-old
bro.
Corey Houtzel went to a
Nasty
Chick-fil-A
ass
looking for
nigga.
a fight. He found some random guy and decided to randomly just start trying to fight him. He started chasing him all the
he
way
whipped
throughout
your
the
balls
parking lot
out, bro?
and then at some point started taking off his clothes. And during this, he screamed at people for looking at his schlong and calling them gay for looking at it. What caused this? I couldn't tell you. It doesn't say that he was
But he
on
was in the
drugs.
dirt, bro. He probably got got dirt on his meat hole, bro. Oh, that's fucking gross. You met, oh, yeah. That was probably a tough ass shower to get all that that dirt off you in prison too. Yeah, wrap it up, bro. I'd be so embarrassed, bro, when I woke up when I was sober the next day. Be like, what the fuck did I do last night? Oh, I'd be
Which is honestly pretty
pissed.
crazy
I'd be
because
so-
doing this
yeah, that's one of
blatantly
my
sober
biggest
is
fears.
pretty wild.
He was
If you do
sober?
this with nothing in your system, that kind of scares me a little bit. Surprisingly, the man that he tried to start a fight with did not press charges against him, but the police did arrest him for not cooperating. But this isn't nearly as bad as what Cody
Now, I was gonna
Leader
say it's a
did.
little bit better if you drunk, but if you just dead sober doing that, that's insane.
Now, in 2019, Cody went into a Target and went into the Toys Kids section. Now, Frozen 2 just came out around this time, so they were doing a lot of promo for it. Cody went into the toys section, picked up a stuffed Olaf, and then started doing some very, very disgusting things to it. I'm not gonna say what that is, but I think you can use your
you're
imagination.
nasty.
He did this so casually in front of everybody
You're
with no warning,
fucking
and
You
I
could
don't
go
even know what
home
the
at
reason
least and
is,
buy the
honestly.
dog
After
first,
he
bro.
was arrested, not only did the company get rid of the toy, but they also destroyed
put
it
the
as
toy
they
back?
felt like it was a good way to put it out of its misery. Now, these are just some of the more random stories of people being drunk idiots and whatnot. Some of the real wild shit is people who try to commit real crimes and they fail
Nah, he should get like a pedophile charge too. Cause what if he was in the kids' house? What if some little kids seen him doing that? Yeah, not lock his ass up for 30 years plus.
horribly. Like the time in 2019 when a bunch of dudes went around licking doorknobs. They would just walk up, lick the
Y'all would get
doorbells,
sick,
and
but
even
you know how
look
many
into the
people
camera
touch that
eyes of,
doorknob?
like the Ring doorbell thing, and
Oh,
then just
the
walk
delivery drivers,
away.
they
What the
probably
motive
took a
was,
piss
I
and
have
washed
no
their hands
idea.
and stuff.
There was like a ton of people doing this, but
They
like
probably
I don't
dug in
even
their
know if
ass
they were
and
all
washed their
working
hands and
together.
touched the
They were just
doorknob.
slobbing on the knob like corn on the
Fucking
cob.
gross,
This went on for
bro.
a while, and they just never really found out why people were doing this. I don't think
You'll get
technically it was
sick.
illegal either. It was just really weird. But what is illegal is holding up a Starbucks at gunpoint when you don't get a goddamn cream cheese bagel. Now in 2021, a man ordered from a Starbucks drive-thru. He got a bagel, but after seeing that they didn't put cream cheese on it, he went right back and demanded that they give him the cream cheese. Now since cream cheese does cost extra, the employee asked him if he paid that extra charge. Now instead of the guy realizing that maybe he was in the wrong or something
on,
and maybe
bro.
just paying the extra fee, he decided to pull out a gun on the cashier.
You don't
The
got
thing
an
is that
extra
this is an
35
insane
cents to get
overreaction
cream
for
cheese, bro?
obvious reasons. But the employee that he pulled the handgun over actually was the daughter of the chief of police. So, not the type of person that you want to pull out a gun regardless. But if there's one thing that's worse than pulling a gun at someone through a drive-thru, it's probably throwing an alligator at them. In 2016, 24-year-old
Nah,
Joshua
bro.
James went
If I'm working that drive-thru, I'm gone. I don't give a fuck. The company fired me for not helping nobody. You gonna see me in the car in 2 seconds driving away if that happens, bro. I don't give a fuck.
to a Wendy's drive-thru and ordered a drink. And when he got the drink, he randomly threw a 3.5-foot alligator at the woman through the window.
Oh, hell,
I
I'm gone.
literally don't know.
I'm
Like, I
gone.
actually have no idea why he did this. They didn't get his drink wrong or anything. He just threw the alligator at them. And he got this alligator after he
I'm
randomly
gone,
picked it up on the
bro.
street on the way to the drive-thru. Now, not only was he charged with an assault of a deadly weapon because I guess the alligator counts as a weapon, but he also was charged with illegal possession of an alligator. And he faced 5 years in jail. This is easily one of the most
Shoulda got some
type
more
stories ever, but the
weird-ass
burglaries
nigga.
is where the funny shit really happens. Like the guy who broke into a house and then asked the cops to test his meth. In 2024, 34-year-old Timothy Gunther broke into a house
now
after
look
he
at
heard
your
the
eyes,
dogs
bro.
barking inside. Now, he definitely was on some crazy substances because that's a wild
Like
reason
Flight
to break
said,
into
but this way you
someone's
don't do
house.
anything
The cops
besides
were
weed
pretty
and
soon
alcohol.
called and they arrived at the house. But when they found Timothy, he started complaining about how he received some bad substances. And then right after, he straight up takes out a bag of drugs and then asks the cops to test it for him to see if they were good or not. And considering that he had the balls to do this, there must have been something in there. Because why the fuck would you ask the cops to test your drugs after you literally break into a house? Let's focus on one felony at a time here, bro. But when we talk about committing multiple stupid crimes at once, we have to talk about Alexander Spencer. You see, at 25 years old, Alexander randomly decided to wake up and become a
These all them
comedian,
weird
which is
ass
awesome.
dudes you
So
gotta
how does
tell
he
you gotta
start?
stay away
By
from,
going
bro.
to
You
random
can
comedy
tell.
clubs and then slowly working his way up and working on his craft? No. He decides to rob a fucking bank. He went into the bank,
You
went
wanna
up to the
dress,
teller,
bro?
and then had his hand in his pocket in a way that made it seem like he had a gun, even though he didn't have one. The teller gave him $4,700 in cash and he swiftly left. But as he was stealing, a dye pack exploded, which is like a device that's used to identify criminals after a robbery like this, and it got all over his clothes. So he started slowly taking his clothes off, bare naked, and then started throwing money at people while running down the street. I don't know how this helped him become a comedian in any way. I mean, it's funny, just from the aspect of laughing at him, not with him. He was arrested and charged with
You're
public
weird. Look
indecency
at your
and robbing a
ugly-ass
fucking
face.
bank. And no surprise, his comedy career did not
You
take
should
off.
get no
I know,
idea.
big shocker.
Lock
But this
this nigga
definitely
up,
cannot
bro.
be
He's gonna
stupid
get
as
taken in
robbing
the
a
ass
place and
every
then
day and
going
like it,
back
bro.
to get your phone. You see, in
Gay-ass
2019,
nigga running
Willis
around
stole a
naked.
Jeep from a nearby resident's house. But soon after driving, he realized that he forgot his phone. So he decided to make the genius idea to drive back and then go and find it, even though he just stole a fucking Jeep from that house. When he got there, he literally knocked on the house to ask them if he left his phone there, which was perfect timing because the cops were just there looking for the guy who stole the Jeep. Because, you know, that's what happens when you steal a Jeep. On top of this, he also had a suspended license, which just makes it so much
It'd be
worse.
funny
And
if
the
he had his
backstory to
phone
this
with him
is
the
even
whole
weirder
time,
because
bro.
he claims that he stole it because he randomly woke up in the Jeep and then he knocked on the door to see if anyone was home and they weren't, so he just took it. How he got in there, I don't even know. When I look at this story, I leave with more questions than answers. But even then, I don't think this beats probably one of the worst Florida murder attempts of all time. Now in 2020, Todd Jackson...
Oh! That was a jump scare, bro. Look at it, bro. Damn.
a couple who apparently owed him money. Their names were Raymond and Crystal Klein. Now, after shooting them, Todd, his stepdaughter, and her boyfriend cleaned up the
They're
evidence
all
and they
ugly
wrapped up
as
the
hell,
bodies
bro.
and threw them in a swamp. And for a while, they actually got away with this because no one really suspected them of anything. They marked their tracks clean and there was no connection to them in any way. But then the stepdaughter made the stupid move of trying to sell the boyfriend's
she
truck
looks
for
like a
$200. Now, for one, selling a truck for only $200 is such a low price. But the reason this is so dumb is because the couple's bodies were not found yet, so it wasn't really reported that they were murdered yet in the media or anywhere. And when people asked her why she was selling it, she said it's because the owner was shot in the head. And again, this proves that she knew that they were murdered and how they were murdered. Right after, she was obviously arrested, and so was the boyfriend and the dad, and the
That's
police
what
were
y'all
able to make the
get,
connection pretty
bro.
clear. And now they're facing life. So
Good.
just remember, kids, if
Good. Hey, if y'all watch to the end and see this, hey, do not do anything you just seen in this video. It is stupid. Just please chill out. Hey, this video right here, I'm probably gonna react to it pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, make sure y'all always remember hard work pays off, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.